Philippians chapter 3, and while you're turning there, I want to bring your attention to Bobby Connors was here a couple Sunday nights ago. How many were able to be here that Sunday night? A few of you. And for those of you that are unaware, Bobby had been, he's a world-known prophet, and he'd been a part of this house for at least 20 years that I'm aware of, and had prophesied, brought tremendous word to this house, that if you look at our timeline as a house and as a movement, Bobby had been one of the unique prophets the Lord has sent to us to speak into what the Lord has for us in the future. And so he came again a couple Sunday nights ago, and there's a couple things he said that I wanted to just put before us for those of us that weren't there that evening. And he said a lot of things, but there's two things I'm going to bring up for right now. He said, at the time of recalibration, return back to the first love. It's time to recalibrate and return back to the first love. And the second thing that I wrote down was, we are to accept no imitation, expect no limitation. Accept no imitation, expect no limitation. And so just if you could, just to steward the word of the Lord, let's steward those, and let's really return back to the first love, as well as let's not do any copycats or imitation, and let's expect no limitation. Amen? All right, if you go into Philippians chapter 3, I want to read a verse in Isaiah, and then I'll meet you in Philippians chapter 3. In Isaiah chapter 43, verse 18 through 19, it says this: do not remember the former things. Say former things. Nor consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Say new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Today I want to continue something that we've talked about a lot around here. And as a house and as a movement, and as believers, when we say yes to Jesus, how many understand when Jesus went to the disciples, specifically Matthew, all he said was, follow me, and then he left the room. You know, when Jesus says, follow me, he doesn't join your situation. You leave your situation and you join his. And so the reason why we know about Matthew is because he left everything and followed Jesus. So oftentimes God calling us forward, he's calling us into new things. One of the ways you know it's a new thing is if you've never seen it before. And oftentimes we label things we say, oh, that's something new. But if you've seen it before, then it's actually not new. It's something you've already seen that maybe got a refresh. It's 2.0 or 3.0. But what God has called us to is into new things, which oftentimes, if it's new, we've never seen it before, many times have no grid or context for it, which at first we tend to reject a lot of new things. But really, it's the Lord, he's bringing us from the former things into the new things, so much so that he says, I will make a road to get there, through the wilderness and through the desert. I will make sure there's a road in front of you to get to where I've called you to. So this is a message for every believer, but I actually want to talk to us as believers in this context of Bethel, that God is calling us into new uncharted territories. We might go, yeah, I kind of got an idea, but to be honest with you, it's a lot like as my dad has said, you sign the contract and he filled it in later. One thing, we might not know exactly where we're going. People ask me, all of us often, what do you see the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years? And it's kind of I think it's X and Y and Z, but what we do know is we can't stay here.